Great story there. Moving on to weather now here. Hopefully you had a chance to enjoy the gorgeous weather, of course, that we had out there today. Refreshing was the word that kind of came to mind for me stepping outside this morning. Just that lack of humidity and a breeze. What a difference that made out there for today. Now, moving on to Sunday, we are going to keep the quiet weather around, but we're going to start the process of dialing the heat up a little bit here. Your planner for the upstate areas in the morning, expect to wake up to some low 70s by 8 o'clock with some low 60s in the mountains. There likely is going to be some patchy fog in the mountain spots around that time too, so if you're headed out early, bear in mind to watch out for some poor visibility in those trouble spots. Low to mid 80s for our midday temps tomorrow and plenty of sun, and then upper 80s to some low 90s across the area going into the afternoon time frame. As far as satellite and radar is concerned here, pretty straightforward. As we look at the setup across the eastern half of the U.S., pretty much all being dominated by this expanding area of high pressure. Again, it's going to keep things on the sunny side for the next several days. It's only going to slowly kind of build off toward the east and inch closer to the coast, likely through the middle of the week. The catch is it's also going to get a little bit of a boost from an upper level ridge of high pressure that's going to allow more heat to build southeast over the next few days, and that's why we're expecting those pretty extreme temps by the time especially we hit Monday and Tuesday. But pretty much all of next week is going to be dominated by some pretty hot conditions. Looking at your humidity forecast for the next few days, while the temperatures climb, the humidity, as you can see, upstate and the mountains is going to climb as well. But critically, it's really not looking like until Thursday, Wednesday into Thursday, or at the earliest, where we could start to see those humidity levels tip back closer to the oppressive category. At the worst of the heat, Monday, Tuesday, we kind of keep it in muggy territory. So it'll be humid enough to make that heat feel a little hotter, but not necessarily getting to those very dangerous or extreme levels. Still, though, I want to make sure you're prepared, keeping cool, keeping hydrated, because as we look at your heat index, that's that real feel over the next few days. For tomorrow, I'm going to keep things pretty well in check. Maybe feeling more, especially upstate, like the low to mid 90s. Nothing too unusual or terribly concerning for this time of the year. But by Monday, we start to get that heat index with those upper 90s for air temps. We push the real feel a little bit closer to 100, maybe 102 degrees. And on Tuesday, we push that closer to about the 102, maybe as high as 105 range. But not quite, thankfully, as extreme as some of the heat we had a few weeks ago, but still something you want to make sure that you're planning accordingly for as we move into the next few days. Rest of this, though, looking fantastic on Future Track. Really no major cloud coverage to be spoken for tonight. Crystal clear skies if you want to do some stargazing tonight. Frankly, going to be some great weather to do so. Remember, though, as we go into tomorrow morning, you're not going to see a whole lot of it here on Future Track, but especially in those low-lying spots in the mountains, some fog likely to collect in the valleys, and maybe even in a few upstate locations, you might encounter some patchy fog. So if you're headed out to church services tomorrow morning, going out for that morning cup of coffee, just bear in mind you might run into a few spots of poor visibility, then some fair weather clouds. That's all we have to worry about. Going into tomorrow afternoon, looking beautiful for our Sunday, wrapping up the weekend on a very nice note tomorrow evening, and then starting off our Monday morning on a quiet note, looking good for the kids' ride to school on the bus or you getting out for the morning commute. Rest of your forecast here upstate. There's the heat. That's really what the focus is going to be all next week. 93 for tomorrow, then 97 Monday, 98 on Tuesday. And even as we back it off a little bit, it's still low to mid 90s from Wednesday into next weekend. Chances for storms remaining very low until really we get to Friday and Saturday. But even then, just a small isolated chance for a storm. And also looking at some 90s coming your way in the mountains, even getting as high as about 94 on Tuesday. So everybody really needs to make sure you're keeping cool, keeping hydrated as we move into this week. Anna?